has been booming in the Omaha metro, and two cooks learned the upside of this growing industry. Today we head to the Blackstone district and take a look at how they opened 3 restaurants within 2 years. Good afternoon, I'm Ray Cook.
And I'm Megan Alexander. Coming up, we dive into the world of video games and how local game designers come together to create one in a short time.
All this and more on the Omaha News.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
As a form of entertainment, the video games industry continues to grow, with video game sales in 2008 reaching $35.8 billion according to the Entertainment Software Association and the NPD Group. Reporter George Cruz Alvarez is live in studio to tell us about a worldwide event that encourages all types of game developers to create a game in 48 hours and how Omaha is involved in it.
Nebraska may not be known as a place for video game development, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people excited about making games. These kinds of passionate locals recently gathered together at UNO's Mammal Hall to have the 2019 Global Game Jam in Omaha. The Global Game Jam is a yearly event with locations across the world where creatives meet to make video games and non-digital games in a condensed time frame of 48 hours. In 2019, UNO Libraries and the UNO Creative Production Lab hosted the Omaha Meetup for Global Game Jam at Mammal Hall. Beginning on a Friday and ending on a Sunday, developers must brainstorm ideas based on the theme of the Game Jam, come up with a design, find team members with the skills to realize that design, and get to work. Creating a video game requires a variety of different skills, and Game Jams encourage developers with that expertise to collaborate and leverage each other's knowledge to see a project to completion. Such two previous strangers, now turned co-project developers, are Oakland and Roosevelt.
The bigger the game, the more people it requires, the more diverse skill sets it requires, and the more time it requires. If you are a one-person team, do not expect to make Skyrim or Fallout or like literally any AAA title.
Once they start working by themselves, then they're going to have to figure out that there's characters to design, there's environments to design, characters, the way the characters move. There's tons and tons of jobs, special effects. For one person to do all that would be very impressive.
At the end of Sunday, what started off as an idea on a whiteboard became a fully playable video game. Select games developed at previous Global Game Jams have gone to get fully published releases on major platforms and consoles. For those interested in playing the games made at this year's event, they can be found at the Global Game Jam's official site. Megan, Ray, back to you.
Thanks, George. President Donald Trump delivered his second State of the Union address Tuesday night, just weeks after the largest government shutdown in history. He spoke nearly an hour and a half with a few interruptions of applause or chants of USA from the Republican Party.
The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, released a statement late Tuesday night that criticized President Trump for ignoring the gun violence problem and his assault on the LGBT community.
Pelosi concluded that President Trump must now take concrete steps to work with Democrats to strengthen the health and economic security of families across America.
Restaurants pop up all the time, but a pair of culinary professionals show us the entrepreneurship side of the restaurant industry. Reporter Phil Lemon is in the Blackstone district to take us inside a fewer new restaurant establishments.
The Blackstone district is an up-and-coming shopping and dining area. I sat down with a restaurant owner to dive into some local cuisine.
Matt Carper has opened 3 restaurants in the Blackstone district in just 2 years with his business partner, Matt Moser.
Yeah, Matt and I met almost 10 years ago, a long time ago. Matt was a cook and I was bartending and managing, and we kind of moved around together from different concepts.
After working in restaurants over the years, the two wanted to start from scratch and introduce some unique options for locals. A refined gastropub, vintage cocktail bar, and Asian sushi bar.
Honestly, we try to source everything we can locally from farmers and local purveyors, so we're supporting the local community. Not everyone does that, you know. They're trying to find the cheapest product, I guess, to provide, and we are going for quality versus quantity.
Carper believes this location is a great place for his businesses to thrive with local support.
Location down here in Blackstone District, there's a lot of things happening down here, from apartments to the hotel to just the neighborhood itself, redeveloping.
Matt Carper being the manager and Matt Mosier being the cook, it's a great combination of the two.
A professor at Mammal Hall gives some insight on how to be a good entrepreneur in this industry.
A good entrepreneur succeeds by being more aware of what the customer wants, being willing to work a little bit harder, and also being willing to structure their business and be more organized.
So whether you want a Ralph Macchio sushi roll, a gooey butter bar, an Omaha brew, or even a combination of all three, you can guarantee there will be a local touch to every one of these menu options. Ray, Megan, back to you.
Thanks, Phil. Longtime Omaha roller skating rink Skate Days plans to close, company officials announced Tuesday. The Cernick family opened Skate Days in 1982. This was the last of the family's roller skating rinks. They owned as many as 5 rinks in the peak of roller skating. According to a statement announcing the closure, owners Scott and Pam are ready to hang up their skates and pursue other passions. The business at 3616 South 132nd Street will have its final day on March 31st.
Coming up, we take a look at a prehistoric exhibit at a local botanical garden.
And next, we'll meet a local barber who brings his community together with style and conversation.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
The Bike Union and Coffee is not your typical place. By shopping at the Bike Union, with every purchase of a bike or coffee, 100% of the sales revenue goes directly back into youth who have aged out of the foster care system, which will in turn give them the skills to become self-sufficient through professional and personal development. Let's achieve positive social change together, one coffee cup and bike at a time. The Bike Union and Coffee. Bikes, coffee, community.
There is a spark inside every one of us that seeks to create and express ourselves. A spark that burns with the desire to capture our imagination into reality. And there is a place where that spark can grow. 13th Floor Magazine. We are not just for writers. Join us and share your passion with the world.
I always knew I wanted to go to college.
To be the first person in my family to graduate.
Because I dream of being an elementary teacher, an environmental geologist, a soil scientist, a nurse.
Project Achieve helps me go from dream to degree. If we can do it,
so can you.
Project Achieve. From dream to degree. unomaha.edu/project-achieve.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
This is the Omaha News.
January 25th marked the end of the largest United States government shutdown in history, but there may be another shutdown just days away. If President Trump and the United States Congress cannot agree on a bill to fund the operations of the federal government by February 15th, more than 800,000 federal employees may feel the impact once again, shutting off the lights on almost a quarter of government activities. Taylor Gurney, a software engineer working for a government contractor, finds the threat of an impending shutdown frustrating because of the impact it has had on his work.
As part of our work, we have to be able to talk to the government, who are our customers. And if we can't talk to our customers, it makes it more difficult to get work done.
Gurney considers himself lucky because he still receives a paycheck during a government shutdown, but not all Omaha residents would be as fortunate if the government closes once again.
Barbershops are more than just a place to go and get a haircut. Reporter DK Kellum takes a look at how a local barber is cutting hair and making memories.
When you think of a barbershop, I'm sure a haircut is the only thing that comes to mind. At Classic, it's more than a haircut. It's a hub for information.
You know, and it's a place to get away. People want to come to the barbershop not just for a haircut, but to congregate, you know, about the main topics we talk about around here, pretty much politics, sports, and religion.
Barber Dave Goodwin was born into the trade of cutting hair. His family thought it would be a sufficient way to keep him out of trouble.
I come from a family of barbers, and it was something my folks put me in and said, you know, keep my head above water. And this is something I've been doing all my life for the last 29 years. So,
Classic Barbershop is a family-oriented shop that caters to all genders and all races. Trash talking and debating sports is a guarantee when you walk through the doors of Classic. Anything can be said as long as it's respectful and no foul language is used.
What you say? Tennessee, Virginia, Gonzaga is the best team in the nation right now. So they got that player back. That means you think they're gonna win? I'm gonna light them when the tournament parents come out. I'm taking. How that's the boy? I want some more of that money.
There isn't many places you can go to laugh, study, gossip, debate, or get cleaned up. No matter what, when you come out of those doors, you'll come out a new person. For Omaha News, I'm DK Kellum.
Classic Barbershop will continue to be a safe place for everyone and anyone who needs a haircut or a great conversation.
Well-known cannabis aficionado Willie Nelson is launching his own brand of coffee that is perfect for those interested in mixing their love of hemp with their morning pick-me-up. The coffee is the first product to be included in his health and wellness line called Willie's Remedy, according to KXAN. Nelson is working alongside his wife, Annie, who made the brand and expects to introduce more hemp products in the future. Nelson's website prices the coffee at $36 a bag.
Omaha's Lauritzen Gardens opened a new exhibit on January 17th. Dinosaur Uproar features 20 life-size dinosaur sculptures that range in size from 14 inches to 33 feet. The exhibit also contains dinosaur fossils and plants that have prehistoric roots. The sculptures are created by Lost World Studios and shipped to Lauritzen Gardens, who then design the space. Dinosaur Uproar is part of Lauritzen Gardens' goal of providing a unique experience for visitors.
It makes people think about visiting a botanical garden and draws awareness to a botanical garden in a time of year when you might not otherwise be thinking of it. Like right now, we're standing in the middle of our conservatory and I can see green all around me and snow outside. And it's a really neat juxtaposition.
Lauritzen Gardens hopes to encourage visitors to learn more about nature, past and present. Dinosaur Uproar will be on display through May 12th.
Coming up, we join our sports team to talk about hockey and men's and women's basketball.
Next, we will meet an all-star slam dunk champion who has faced numerous injuries throughout his career.
All this and more right here on the Omaha News.
Tired of listening to the same Spanish music? Listen to my show on myradio.fm.
I never thought I'd be standing in the clouds looking down on the ancient ruins of the Incan Empire. I never thought I'd live among the street artists in Valparaiso. I never thought I'd make friends that would last a lifetime.
Adventure's out there, and as Mavericks, it's up to us to find it.
Stop thinking, start doing. Visit educationabroad.unomaha.edu.
She was your average girl.
I'm sorry, I'm so clumsy.
And he was a movie theater. It was a romance that no one saw coming.
You're in Dundee, too?
But sometimes, love gets complicated.
We can't be together, because I'm a country girl, and you're a building.
Coming soon.
I
love your dedication to the Omaha community, and I love your focus on independent foreign and classic films, and I love how you introduced me to the new ideas through the presentation of film as an art form.
I love you, film streams.
As a student, it's good to know you have support wherever you go. To have a simple and direct way of seeing that next assignment. To have an easy way of knowing where you're headed to next. Or just how quickly you're going to get there. The UN Omaha app is everything a student needs, just a tap away. Download it today on the App Store or Google Play.
Welcome back to Omaha Sports. I'm your host, Ellie Brecht. This past weekend, the Omaha hockey team welcomed in number 8 Western Michigan. On Friday night, the Mavs got out to a 2-goal lead, but the Broncos, led by Ethan Frank, who's from Papillion, Nebraska, scored 2 goals, including the game winner with 13.7 seconds left to seal Game 1 for Western Michigan. Frank wanted to go to UNO after high school, but was never recruited by former coach Dean Blaze. In Game 2 on Saturday night, Frank got a 5-minute major for an illegal hit to the head and got ejected in the first period. The Mavs went up 5-1 midway through the second period, and while the Broncos got it to 5-3, Omaha took the game 6-3 behind 2 goals apiece from Frederick Olofsson and Mason Morelli. Olofsson and Morelli are now 1-2 in the NCHC in points scored. Omaha will travel to Miami, Ohio next weekend for a series against the Miami Redhawks. UNO men's basketball has been without one of their most prominent playmakers throughout the majority of the 2018-19 season, but that hasn't stopped them from picking up where they left off last year.
Redshirt freshman Zach Thornhill has been battling injuries most of his time here at UNO, but his teammates and fans know he is well worth the wait. Coming out of St. James Academy in Kansas, Thornhill was crowned the 8-10 varsity Missouri-Kansas All-Star Slam Dunk Champion as a senior.
First time I dunked a basketball was actually sophomore year of high school.
He transformed from a 5'9" to 6'2" in just 1 year, and so did his game.
It was cool. I mean, it was something I'd never done before. So I mean, I knew I had something in my back pocket for it. So I never showed any of the dunks that I did, really.
In his first ever dunk contest, he casually posted a perfect score. Thornhill received plenty of attention coming out of high school, but now as a member of UNO basketball, Thornhill and company look to avenge last year's heartbreak.
The Mavericks fell just 1 game shy of their first ever NCAA tournament berth last year after they lost to South Dakota in the Summit League Conference Championship 87-73.
I mean, at the end of this season, I see us in the actual tournament. I think we have really high expectations for ourselves, you know, having a tough year last year, but coming back, we got a really good locker room, we got a lot of good pieces, and I think if we just stay the course, I think expectations are unlimited for us.
After beating North Dakota on Sunday, the Mavericks are now 13-9 overall, 7-2 in conference play, and are in great position for this year's Summit League Conference tournament. For the Omaha News, I'm Justin Keys.
After returning to the floor for only a few games in December and January, Thornhill hopes to overcome his lingering injuries and get back to playing full-time before the postseason. The men's and women's basketball team played against North Dakota this past Sunday in a doubleheader at Baxter Arena. The women's team lost 68-69 to the Fighting Hawks as their record falls to 1-8 in the Summit League and 7-15 overall. Sophie Johnston had 20 points to lead the Mavericks. The men beat North Dakota 90-72 as 5 Maverick players had double figures. After an uncharacteristic game against South Dakota State, Zach Jackson bounced back with 22 points to pace the Mavs. After the win, Omaha now sits at 13-9 overall. Another bright spot in Sunday's win over North Dakota was senior forward Mitch Hahn. Hahn has had a prolific career as part of the Omaha men's basketball team. He was a key member of the 2016 team that was 1 win away from making the NCAA tournament. However, it hasn't been all good moments for Hahn as a Maverick. Mitch Hahn suffered a season-ending injury in his junior year. It took him longer than he expected to get back to 100% in his senior campaign.
For me, it felt like it took until 8 to 10 games into the season to finally feel like the Mitch I was before the injury.
11 games into the season, he says support from his family and friends helped him get his confidence back before the Mavs played Idaho.
A lot of friends, family, just kind of talked to them, just try to get my confidence up. But then it so happened that we played Idaho next. That's what kind of when my shot started to come around, and I felt like myself after that game.
In Sunday's win over North Dakota, Hahn scored 16 points to help lead the Mavericks to a 7-2 Summit League record. That's all we have today for Omaha Sports. This week, the men's basketball team travels to South Dakota tomorrow before hosting the Summit League leading South Dakota State Jackrabbits next Thursday for a crucial conference matchup. The women's basketball team plays at South Dakota tonight at 7 p.m., then come back home to play host to Western Illinois at Baxter Arena. Tip-off is scheduled for 2 p.m. Ray, Megan, back to you.
Thanks, Ellie. Coming up on the Omaha News, we find out how a student is preparing to be part of the press covering Joe Biden's appearance at UNO.
Next up, we sit down with UNO and UNMC's chancellor to discuss opportunities here at UNO.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your Mav card is your ticket. Don't lose it.
Ticket? Ticket to what?
It's your ticket to tremendous entertainment. Like the UNO Art Gallery. They host amazing art shows, lectures, and the Writers' Workshop reading series. We can go to the Strauss Performing Arts Center, where we can experience live music. Or maybe the theater, where they host 4 productions a year.
Your Mav card is your ticket. Where will it take you?
A new arrival has joined the University of Nebraska Medical Center, and it will allow UNMC to compete with the elite research institutions in the country in better understanding the complexities of the brain. The unit comes in the form of the most advanced MRI scanner in Nebraska, a state-of-the-art 28,000-pound machine that will provide the highest resolution imaging available while cutting the time the subject has to be in the MRI in half. The MRI costs $2.5 million with an additional expense of about $1.5 million to install it. It's located in the heart of UNMC Nebraska Medicine campus on the first floor of the Hickson Lead Center, which connects the Clarkson and University Hospital towers. Doctors who specialize in the area of neuroscience say the scanner will enable investigators to unravel how diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis cause aberrations in the brain that severely affect behavior and quality of life. They add that once scientists figure that out, improved treatment and perhaps even cures could be on the horizon.
Opened and dedicated a new facility for abused girls in Tennessee called Janie's House. The new facility is part of Youth Villages, an organization that sits on an 82-acre campus and provides families with emotional, mental, and behavioral programs, our WREG-TV reports. The house is named after Aerosmith's 1989 song, Janie's Got a Gun, which is about a girl who sought revenge on her abusive father. The facility will house up to 14 girls at a time to receive 24-hour support and will help up to 30 girls a year who have been neglected or abused.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha Chancellor Jeffrey Gold reflected on his transition to this campus in a one-on-one interview on January 29th. I had the honor to sit down with him and discuss his role here at UNO. So I would just like to know what it's like being the full-time chancellor of UNO and UNMC.
It's been a time of great learning for me, meeting another whole community of individuals, faculty, staff, students, community members that are tightly connected to UNO. And it's been an opportunity to look for synergies, areas of collaboration, areas of strength on both of the campuses.
So, Chancellor, what's been the biggest, perhaps most challenging adjustment you've made since becoming UNO's Chancellor?
Well, my philosophical approach to leadership hasn't really changed, because I have always been a strong fan and a strong believer in what I call servant leadership. And by that I mean I measure my success by the success of others. So whether it's the success of our students, of our faculty, or our staff, our patients at the Med Center, when we achieve awards and recognition for the success of others, that is my measurement of whether I'm doing what I want to be doing. So I don't perceive that as a challenge. I would say the challenge really was meeting hundreds, if not thousands, of new people, understanding the unique mission and vision of UNO and how, as a public metropolitan university and as a research-intensive university, Carnegie Research-Intensive University, how that mission can be shared with the community.
Chancellor Gold had a lot more interesting things to say. To see the full interview, visit unomahanews.com.
It's that time of year when the Unicode Consortium decides which new emojis you will see, and this year's selection of 59 new base emojis is both inclusive and eclectic. You can find wheelchairs and guide dogs. Some of the additions seem a little sillier. New animals like sloths, flamingos, and orangutans will be added, and for those of you who love food, you'll find a presence of an onion, juice box, and a waffle. You will have to wait a while to see them though, because Unicode does not normally release them until about September.
Students and faculty at UNO say they are excited the campus will host former Vice President Joe Biden later this month. School of Communications Rodriguez plans to report live from the Chuck Hagel Forum in Global Leadership, where she says the hands-on experience will serve student media in a real-life way. Biden is expected to deliver opening remarks, then take part in a discussion which will include questions from the audience. This is the first event of its kind called The Role of U.S. Leadership in the Changing World. For Rodriguez, preparations for news coverage are already underway.
As I get ready to prepare for the forum, just doing some basic fact-checking, some researching, going into Joe Biden's history.
The former president will be at the Strauss Performing Arts Center February 28th, beginning at 3:30. Tickets are free but hard to come by. If you don't get yours in the online ticket lottery, you can hear the live stream online or follow the Omaha News and mavradio.fm on Twitter.
You know the old saying, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life? Well, for a lucky few, this might be the case, because a Dutch chocolate company is offering to pay someone in money and sweets to travel across the country in a Choco Truck. Tony's Chocolonely, a Dutch confectionery business based in Amsterdam, is looking to hire a captain and 2 co-pilots to travel through 10 different U.S. cities. To score the job, you also need a little bit more than a sweet tooth. Among several other requirements, Tony is looking to hire candidates that are at least 21 years old with a bachelor's degree and minimum of 3 years event producing or touring experience. You can apply at joinus.tonyschocolonely.com.
That's all we have for today. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks for more and exciting stories on the Omaha News.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at UNO The Omaha News, or on our website at unomahanews.com.
From all of us here at UNO Television, thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.